My integrity is intact probably for the first 2 hours of this week's runs, and then it goes out the window. I don't care.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll take any advantage it gives me. Drop timings for the week, once again, do matter. Drask is walking around the arena. Lucky us, drop is pretty much almost instantly. The other thing is with the drop, I was using the Thrax weapon and the special allowed me to kind of teleport to him. So it didn't really matter too much where he was in rotation.
Yeah, I mean, I know when I was doing the few solo runs I did, it was like, I was going like 54, 53, which is pretty much right after you're done potting. Like, pretty instantaneous. And the same thing with the Thrax, especially even if he's a little off, you can kind of use, if you're using a Thrax weapon, you can use that to position better anyways.
Builds for the week. So the build I was rocking was 6 Berserker, 6 Catalyst, 6 Cunning, 6 Predator, 6 Rage, 3 Discipline, and 3 Wild Frenzy. This is with the Shroud unique effect and no Tragic Echo. And the build you were rocking was 6 Berserker, 6 Callus, 6 Cunning, 6 Discipline, 6 Rage, and 3 Wild Frenzy. Once again with the Shroud unique effect bonded to the Thrax weapon, but with Tragic Echo. Both of these builds are going to play out pretty similar, with wanting to tank the first hit that you possibly can to get under 20% HP to activate that Shroud unique effect, and then play the rest of the fight flawlessly to ensure that you don't die, with obviously the Tragic Echo changing that one time and dying. Both of these builds though I think are pretty much as much damage as you can get into a build this week. Drask doesn't have almost any overpower states. He doesn't have an inner rage until much later on in the fight. No overpower, no rage hunter, which really limits our choices for damage cells. So I think these builds are pretty much as best as you're going to get for sweats.
Yeah, without those two factors, the enrage and the OP states, you really like, that's why like all the crit starts going to play, because you just having to reach for like damage somewhere. Like, you're gonna have to search for your damage options at some point.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much only damage options this week are like Berserker, Rage, and Predator. After that, you're going to go through like weird damage cells like Aetheric Attunement, Wild Frenzy, Invasive Fury, stuff like that. It's kind of an awkward week to make a build for.
Yeah, I'd say if you're looking for like, you know, fastest time you can get, those two are probably the best options. And even the run themselves, even like the exact same generally. It's just, you know, one, you want to die at some point, and that's the only annoying part, is finding when to die. But other than that, the runs are like identical.
Lanterns for the week, I think it's a pretty easy choice of once again being Pangar. With it synergizing so well with Aether Drive and Catalyst, I don't think there's any reason to bring anything else this week. The Frost proc obviously helps with slowing his attacks down so you can actually get attacks in. Drask is a pretty speedy attacking behemoth already, so you definitely want to slow him down to at least reasonable speeds.
Yeah, it has so much, just such a wide radius. It'll be hard for him to like ever not be getting touched by some of it at the least, even if he's moving a lot. And you know, like Everman, for example, he'd be flying away from those orbs like nonstop.
Potions for the week is the 3 classics: Aether Drive, Blitz, and Frenzy. No need to bring anything else. Stagger Tonic is going to be pretty bad versus his Thick Skull. You probably will be able to get a stagger, but we're not bringing overpower anyways, so no real need for that. Pylon would be good in groups obviously, but for solos he's going to be moving around too much. You're not going to get good use out of it, so no real need to go outside the 3 basic boys.
Salt Tonic would take too much investment, you know, OP anyways. Yeah, he does move too much Pylon. I mean, and Catalyst already synergized so well with Aether Drive that, yeah, I mean, it's just, I think those 3 just make so much sense compared to anything else.
All right, viable weapons for the week. This week, with his HP being so low, with the fight being so brawly, I think this week is definitely a week that any weapon can get a sub 3. To go down the list of weapons, Aether Striker is obviously viable. I think it's the best weapon for this week. Their mobility, speed, and just full out damage, as well as part focus, I think makes them a clear winner this week. Hammer, I think, is okay. I think it's going to be really, really hard getting your combos in between his attacks with how quickly he attacks, I think it's going to make it very, very difficult. But I think you can do okay. The thick skull, I think, really messes with you though. So probably just viable for sub 3 actually.
Yeah, I think like a sweaty hammer time would be a little difficult because of the thick skull and his movement.
Sword, I think is actually going to do really well this week, especially with avenging. Once again, with him attacking so fast, it just gives you more time to counterattack, which is like your highest damage ability.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have a lot of like avenging use in a sword run.
Yeah, it's just going to generate you a ton of valor, a ton of damage. Yeah, it's going to be great. So I think sword is definitely top 100 viable, sub 3 viable. Definitely very good this week. Chainblade is going to be, I think, in the same category as sword. It kind of thrives off of the chaotic fight of the behemoth constantly attacking, because Chainblade just get to live inside of iframes.
Yeah, that's exactly. They don't really care. And worst thing about him attacking so often is you are using your Reapers to dodge, which just means you're building up a stack for a slam at some point in the fight. Like they even, just like sword, because with avenging it's the same thing. They get they actually get rewarded for a busy behemoth.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Chainblade is very viable for top 100 and sub 3 as well. Pike, I think, is going to struggle the same way that Hammer is. It's going to struggle to get its combos in between his attacks. And so I think it's probably just going to be sub 3 viable this week and not viable for a top 100 run. And then Axe, I think, is the same way. It's going to be real hard to get your attacks off in between his attacks. You're just going to have a real rough time getting damage in. Probably sub 3 viable, but definitely not top 100 like every other week for Axe. Poor Axe, man. Repeaters, I think, will do okay. They're probably like the middle of the road weapons this week. Repeaters don't really care if a behemoth is attacking really fast, because you're just always so agile and mobile. But they also don't like benefit from it either, like Sword and Chainblade do. Definitely sub 3 viable. But yeah, I think every weapon is definitely viable for sub 3. Pretty good week for weapons. It's pretty easy for sub 3 as is. Mistakes in your run. For anybody that's seen my run, Drask decided to fall asleep in the middle of my run, and I wouldn't change a thing. This trial sucks, and I lucked out after 6.5 hours, 200 runs later. That's my run. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly, yeah, same.
Strategy inside the arena. This week, there is going to be very little hard strategy. It's going to be extremely fluid. The start of the fight, I think, was the most rigid part for me. What I was looking to do was Thrax special in, get on his back leg, and get my mantras up. I was looking to get 4 mantras total before he did his very first spin, which includes a Tempest Form and Karma Breaker. So that's what I was looking to hit. I actually didn't even hit that on my run, so it doesn't matter too much whether or not you hit this, but that's what I was looking for to, and that's what I was trying to do each time. Don't worry about the lightning circles, because more than likely they won't hit you. And if they do hit you, the run wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, it's a good way to look at it, honestly. You forget about the lightning. If it hits you next run, your next 10 of them won't have lightning hitting you.
Yeah, exactly. Your main focus, I think, is you want to break his legs, and ideally you want to go for his back leg. His back leg, whatever it is, when you're back there, he just wants to turn and look you in your eye.
Yeah, that's honestly the strategy. Like we said, the start's pretty rigid, like you said. If you want that, it's a general good start for if you're trying for faster time, or if you're using Shroud UE. And then after that, like you said, it's like a brawl. Like I try to get him to go back and forward as little as possible. Get him to turn, or even do spins are okay, but that's about it. As long as he's pivoting in one way or another, I think that's about as close as you get. Whether he's turning or doing tail whips, so he can just kind of surge and keep going.
Top times of the week. So top 1 right now for solo is 50 seconds with Hell Tricks. Looking at his run, I don't think anyone's going to beat him, man.
It'd be hard. You need to have a pretty solid run, and have a little bit those crits land for you as well. You need both things to line up. So yeah, so that's probably a pretty safe run, I would think.
I don't think anyone's going to take it. Top 5 right now for solos is 1 minute.
I want to say it'll get sub 1 for sure.
Yeah, I think maybe just even barely though. I don't know, man.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying I don't know if it'll be deep, but I think it'll be sub 1 for sure. Maybe 5th might be around a 58.
That's what I was thinking. Right where 4th is right now.
Yeah, that might be where 5th ends up, a time like that. mind it being 5th.
Like one more person. Yeah, I think that's pretty likely. Top 100 for sellers right now is at 127. I said earlier today, like I think in below 120. I think that's still pretty likely. Maybe like 118-ish.
Okay. I was gonna say like low 120s, but I'm always wrong. So
You don't think it's going to get below 120?
it might. I want to say it might until I saw like how deep that goes, but it still might. Because right now the last sub 120s it's sitting at 37th. There's just so many, but it very well could. I would say conservatively like 122. That's me. But I'm like I said, I'm always wrong, so I'm scared.
There's just so many runs between 120 and 127. Like that's half the board, you know. I think it's probably going to get just below 120, but not by very much. Groups right now, top time is 41 seconds with Heltrix and Shanks duo. This is going to get pushed hard, I think.
Yeah, I think like that 41 won't. Like I think top 5 groups will be below that. At least I would think so.
I would agree with that as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be like again like around 30, maybe give or take, but I think so.
And then top 5 right now is 102. And once again, this is going to be hard pushed.
Yeah, like I think 5th will probably line up somewhere between mid to high 30s.
Yeah, I would say like just below like sub 40 seconds.
Yeah, like 35, 38, something like that. Somewhere in that range will probably be like a 5th, I want to say.
Yeah, I'd agree 100%. And then top 100 right now for groups is 124. I'm gonna have another hot take. I think everybody except for the top 3 are gonna get pushed off.
Oh wow, the sub 1s then. I'm surprised it's not closer to that already, honestly.
Well, the thing that I think is really telling to me is not a single one of these groups is using Pike. Like, did people forget about Savagery?
That's I mean, in a trial where you have so little damage options, like Savagery's a massive damage option. It's huge.
Yeah. So, I think we'll see sub 1. We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see. But I'm with you. I'm surprised it's not closer there.
Hey guys, don't forget to leave a comment down below in case we missed anything or if you have any questions. And if you guys like the content, think about subscribing. It really helps me out. Thank you guys, and see you guys next week.
When you feel